This is Blender. Let's make a low poly owl. I'm going to click on General, and I like to hide the light and the camera, and we're actually going to use this cube. It's perfect for what we're doing. We do want to increase this stuff though. Let's do a 2 here, a 2 here, and a 3 here. And with that, the reason we're using this is we're going to do a subsurface modifier on it. It allows for easier manipulation to have the faces of a cube when doing low poly creations like this, and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, or animated creations. Here we go, that's the body, and before we really get into that though, let's make the feet of our owl. So add mesh, and it's going to be a UV sphere, and then for the sizing of this, it's going to be way small, because, well, it's going to be a foot. So probably 0.4 is what it is, and we can leave X there, and let's try 0.4 for Y. That would be an immense foot. Let's try 0.3, and then maybe for X 1.2, stretching it out some, and 0.25 for Z. All right, let's take a look. This is excellent. So now that we have the center of it, I'm going to hit Z here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this guy forward to about here. Notice they're all going to connect. All right. So because this is the origin, I'm going to do object set. Oh, let's first apply the scale, and then object set origin to 3D cursor. So now that that is the origin, I'm going to go ahead and do object duplicate objects and click. I click down right away because all I want to do really is turn this some, and I'm going to rotate it. I was like in 30 degrees. Yeah, 30 degrees is perfect. So now let me click off. I'm going to click the original center, object duplicate, and click. And then again, I'm going to head over and rotate. And this time, -30. And then, so the base of the foot is a bit bigger. I'm going to click on our friend, the original toe. And let's scale that up. So 1.1, 1.1, and 1.1. Click off here. Good. I'm going to grab all of it and just move it a bit so I can see. Yeah. Okay, so the base of it, and that's what I was thinking. Let's do... Oh, did I miss that one? That's a bit better. Okay, but Y is going to be a 1.2, and then Z can be a 1.2 for the center. And this is what we're looking for. Notice how it's getting covered up. I'm going to pull this back just enough. There we go, and it takes it all over. So I pulled it back -0.05, and we have ourselves a bird foot, right? But we don't need one bird foot, we need multiple bird feet. To do that, all I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to highlight all of those. I'm going to do an object join, okay? And then also now I'm going to do object set origin to geometry, just so we have it like that. And I'll call this foot, okay? We'll do a mirror for the next foot, so we can leave that as is. All right, goodbye foot. And now next up for a bird is a wing, mesh. A circle. And what we want here is for the Y to be a 2. Yeah, and actually, let me take a look here. No, definitely a 2. Alright, so the Y is going to be a 2 on this guy, and then I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to go ahead and do vertex, new. Let's actually do face and a grid fill. We want the lines though to be vertical right up and down it, so I'm going to go 6. That's the one that's working for me. Perfect. Okay. So now with that ready to go, I'm going to do select all, and I'm going to actually extrude out these faces. Probably 0.4 for now. Whoops. We'll have to shrink it down later, but just so we're working with something, 0.4. And then I want to create some feathers here at the base. So I'm gonna, let's say this one, that one, maybe this guy. Let's take a look from above. Oh yeah, those should be good. And then let's use the extrude. The standard extrude will be great, and I'm gonna pull out. Oh yeah, perfect. Let's do I don't know, 0.8 maybe for these. And then we're going to shrink them down. So let's go to scale, and this will push them all closer in. So I'm going to grab the red here, the X, and go, yeah, 0.6 is going to be good on those. Awesome. And then the other thing we want to do with this is we want to do a loop cut all the way around like that. And I'm going to do a scale on this. I'm going to pull, because when we do the subdivision, it will give it a more of a circular shape, a more rounded shape. Oh, I meant 1.1, 1.1, 1.1 is what you need. Good. Let's tone down the bottom part of the wing. It should get a bit thinner. So let's go to face, let's go to X-ray. So I can grab all this stuff. And I'm just gonna, like I said, this bottom portion, wings get thinner as you go. Let's go into proportional mode so it affects everything. And I'm just gonna push in some. Okay. 0.75 is great. And then let's make it, I don't know, 1.5, 2, 1.75. And then I'm going to do that again, but now just this bottom portion right here, and scale. And we'll do 0.9, and 1 is good. Great, we got our wing. So let's go back into object mode, and we have a wing. What we're going to want to do to it is add the subdivision surface modifier, and it will end up looking something more like that. Okay, let me turn off X-ray mode. Let's go ahead and hide our, let me name it so I know what it is. Wing. Let me hide our wing. We got a foot, we got a wing, we're getting there. Let's now make our beak. So we're going to use a UV sphere for the beak. Look at the side of this guy. And what we'll do is first extend it out. So on the Y, I'm going to do 2. Okay, and then on the Z, probably 0.8 maybe. That's looking good for now. Let's go ahead and get into the edit mode of this. And for a beak, some things you want to be aware of. We do need it to have a crevice of some kind, right? Because it needs to go in. To create that, what I'm going to do is go into X-ray mode, and I'm going to select this center portion of faces. Okay. Yep. All the way around like this. And then what I'll do is I'm going to do size. And the trick to this is you're only going to grab Z, the Y, and I'm going to push. Boom. Except I don't want proportional editing on. Don't need that. Okay. And yeah, I put it down to 0.3 it looks like. And now I'm going to use extrude along normals. That way. Just a teeny bit. 0.05. Let me take a look. Yeah, that's perfect. We've now pushed it in some. We could keep going on shrinking it down. And I don't want proportional editing on. So 0.4 even, right? It makes the, that was not on purpose. It makes that crevice in the beak look like a thing. So, alright. Now that we have that, our beak is actually looking good already. Let me go ahead and, yeah. Owls' beaks tend to have a bit of a hook. So to do that, let's go look at the top here. And I'm going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4 of these guys. And I'm going to pull them out of it. Without proportional. And then let me actually turn off proportional so I don't forget. And with it pulled out, -0.2, I'm going to scale it down. Give it that point. What else? Pull it out -0.05, and we got our point and our peak. Perfect. So let's go back into object mode. That's looking good. We will use a subdivision modifier on it. And it smooths out everything. So now let's go, I'm going to name it so I don't forget what it is. We got a beak, we got a wing, we got all that we need. So let's hide our beak and let's see this body. Okay, now let me hit X and yep. Let's start editing. Now remember this was a cube at first, right? And we used a subdivision surface modifier on it. And that's a really important tool or method to be aware of, particularly for what we're doing, and you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to do face, inset, and notice that since we have these faces, unlike a actual sphere, it's much easier to do things well like I just did. You can't easily inset a sphere. So I'm going to do 0.45 for that, and then I'm going to do a extrude region and pull this out. That's good too. The body overall though is looking somewhat large, so I'm going to do a few things on that. I'm going to zoom out here. Let me pull this up some. We want more of kind of a circular plump body. Okay, let's give that a shot. Now back to the head. We want this, and then I'm going to increase the scale of that. The head by, I want a 2, 2, and 2, I'm thinking. That is going to be perfect for our owl. Okay. Boom. And now we're going to actually, so owls usually have some color here and around their eyes, and we want to make sure to get that for our owl. So let me go into object mode actually, and I am going to rotate this because we're going to use cloth effect. So that should be 90, that should be 0, and that should be 0. Perfect. Alright, ow. Alright, now I need a cloth. So I'm going to do add mesh circle, and let's go ahead and grab it straight up here. Okay, and then I'm going to do edit mode on this guy, and then I'm going to do vertice, new face from vertice. And for cloth to be able to move, you have to chop it up some. So let's do face, or oh, no, we can't do that, it's a circle. Let's do poke, and now we can subdivide, and let's poke it again. Keep in mind with this, doing this takes a considerable amount of resources on your computer. So the more times you divide it up, the harder it is for your computer to process it. Okay, so that's what I did. I chopped mine up a bunch, and this will be our eye. And then I'm going to scale this down. It's not going to be the eye, it's going to be the color around an owl's eye. 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. And we'll say my location's 4, 0, and 3.8. And now we need to make it a cloth. Modifier, cloth, modifier, collision. And then the body here is going to be collision. And the circle here is going to be fallen. Hit play. Oh, it's way too big. Okay. So we're going to back up and do 0.35, 0.35, 0.35. And now we're going to hit play. Oop, wrong way. Okay, so we're going to need to move it over. And the cool thing is we can pick any spot. It wasn't fully on it here. So let's go back, and I'm going to move it over a bit. Boom. And I think I want it a bit bigger. right here is perfect. Yep, that's where we want it. So mine's at 43, and how I apply this is, well, I go to cloth and I click apply, and now it'll be stuck like that, which is awesome. So let's just add to our cloth some color so we can, well, see it. And that color is going to be, I'm going to call it chest, because this will also be the chest color of our owl. I have a hex code, so the one I was liking was E3CC9. Yes, and that's going to be so perfect. And now for the body of the owl, what we need is, I'll call this body color, and I was liking the hex 6A4420. Perfect. And maybe this should be a bit darker. We'll see. It's that for now, though. Let's go ahead then and... with this applied, let's add a mirror to it. But first we got to do Object, Set Origin to 3D Cursor. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply the scale. And then let's do a mirror. Not there, but there. Ta-da! And our owl is coming along. So we want to extrude these just a bit to make sure they're on the surface. Let's go into edit mode again. And with all these vertices, yikes. So what we'll do first is mesh, clean up, and I'm going to do a limited dissolve. Okay, and that's going to take out a lot of those. It just makes it easier for the computer to process. And then I'm going to do a, well, extrude. But not that much at all. 0.03 maybe. Take a look here. Not even this much. 0.01. We just want to make sure it's completely on top of the surface. And then we're going to solidify the owl later, so that little bit that's coming up is fine. Okay, awesome. So, object mode again. Alright, now we have those set to go. We also want to do a stomach area. For that, I'm going to click on my circles here and the body, because I need to rotate all of it upwards. -90. Sure. And then on the body still, edit mode. Let me click on that X. On X again, there we are. Okay, and then face select here. And what I want to do now is do a mesh and duplicate. And I'm going to click down right away. I have the bear's stomach. Let's now do mesh separate by loose parts. Okay, and now let's go into edit object mode. Now in object mode, let me give this a bit of a different color. And this material will be the chest. So let's go back into edit mode, select this, select the chest, select design, object mode. Alright. What we need to do with that, whoops, that was not supposed to be, okay. What we need to do with this is we want it to be applied to our shape right here. So I'm just going to pull it up. I'm going to go ahead to be less confusing, object set origin to geometry. And let me just kind of get it right at the owl's stomach. And then I'm going, oh, maybe I should have left it right about here. And then let's go ahead and add the modifier. And what modifier it's going to have is called a shrink wrap. And with shrink wrap, I'm going to use the eyedropper and click. And it's going to be, well, shrink wrapped. Okay, so it's obviously too big, which I should have mentioned earlier. Let's go, I'm going to do, let's not show that for now. I'm going to go ahead and do object, apply, scale, object, apply, rotation, and now I want this to be smaller. So now I'm going to head up here and do 0.85, 0.85, 0.85. Okay, and now let's go back to shrink wrap and show what it's looking like. And that's a bit better, okay? And we could do 0.9 as well. And now let's go ahead and do an offset. And that's looking great already. Perfect. That should be perfect. There we go. That was easy. Now for these guys, we need eyes on top of these. Let's go ahead and add our feet and all of that and the eyes then. Well, let's make the eyes actually. So I'm going to do add mesh sphere. And here it is way down here. I'm going to drag it out, but it doesn't really matter where it is at the moment because all I'm doing here is getting it sized. So probably at least, right? And then the X component is going to be, so it will be an eye, and then I guess since it is an owl, well, we have some big flat eyes. Okay, let's drag this up. That needs to be smallified. There we are, and then let's turn it some. Look. This kind of takes me a while, so I'm just going to speed it up since you can use the location numbers on the right side of the screen. That's great. So my numbers then are negative 1.35, 0.46, and 4. Of course, now I don't. 4.05 apparently. Perfect. Okay. And now for our eye, what we'll do is we're going to do an object. Let's actually set a color for this. Whoa, what am I doing? This. New. White's fine. Let's make it a bit shinier. 0.4 for roughness is awesome. I'll call this eye. And now we're going to do an object duplicate. Click. And then for the sizing of this, let's go ahead and, because it's going to be weird, right? I'm going to do object apply scale. And then I'm going to do 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. And that's a bit large still, so maybe 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. And then let's go ahead and bring this forward. Push. That way. Let's go ahead and add a dark color to it, right? It's the pupil plus new. And I'm going to make it less rough too. And we're still not quite to the surface. There we are. And that is looking perfect. So, with the eye all set, great. We're gonna, I have this still selected. I'm gonna hold shift and click on this portion of the eye. I'm gonna do object join. Now you need to make sure that you already colored them, otherwise that will mess a bunch of stuff up. I'm gonna do object apply scale. And I'm gonna do set origin to 3D cursor. And then I'm gonna use a mirror tool or a mirror modifier. X, no, Y, yes. There we go. I forgot to apply rotation, I think. There we are, and now we have 2 eyes. Let's find our beak. There it is, and obviously this is huge, so let's scale it. I'm going to apply the scale of this. And let's do 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Let me give it a bit of beak color. The color I was liking for this, I use a hex code again, and that hex is gonna be 98 A12. And then I need to turn it on the Z axis, so 90 there. Whoop, negative 90 I guess. And let's move it down and over. And I'm definitely still going to need to scale it, but let's kind of get it to where it goes. That looks awesome. Alright, 0.35, 0.35, 0.35. It's like right on. This is looking awesome. Alright. So, now we have a beak. Alright, what about wings? Well, we got those too. Let's grab them. Wing on. Whoop. Flip this way. 90. And then move this way. Let's look straight on here. Let's zoom out. Let's pull up and position. But we do need to scale again. And I'm going to, like I did before, apply. Let me apply the scale and the rotation actually. Just going to get all that good to go. And then for our scale, let's start with 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, which is way too small. So 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. Let me look straight on here. It's looking all right. Maybe about here. Okay. Then let's go ahead and give it our color, and that's going to be the body color. And it's looking good. Let me try rotating it. We might put some cuts in it. I'm loving it. Let's mush it down some, and then I'm going to go edit mode. Right. So what I want, I'm going to go see-through. Let's go gray so you can see. Face mode's good. I'm just going to turn it a bit. This will look weird at first. 5, maybe. Let's try 10. And pull it back. Fine. And then maybe a bit more. And then pull back. And let's take a look. Yeah, that's a bit better. Gives it a bit of a curve. How a wing would hang for our real bird. Alright. I'm really liking this. We could widen the wing. It's up to you. I'll widen mine a bit. But mush it instead. Oh, I'm thinking that's too tall. Alright, so we got a wing, and let's go ahead, straight on. Let me do a object, apply scale and rotation again, because we're going to use a mirror. Object, set, origin, 3D cursor. And with that all set, we're going to go with our wing to a mirror. And Y. And now we have two adorable wings. I still kind of want it to curve in. There. That should take care of it. Perfect. Alright. And what's last? Ooh, our feet. Where is my foot? It is enormous. Sure. And then sizing. That's a bit much. Alright, let's check that out. Maybe something like that. Here, what am I doing? What I'm doing. So I'm at 0.8, 0.55, 0.74. But I'm going to go ahead and do object, apply scale. Okay, from there. Alright, now let's get this into spot. Dead center is not where we want it. Better. And to make this fit a bit better so the bottom isn't completely rounded, I'm going to click on my owl. I'm going to go to edit mode. I'm going to click on the bottom face right here. And after I do that, I'm going to do a face inset. A lot. So my inset is 0.92. Okay, it just kind of hardens up this bottom so we can place stuff on it. Maybe even a 0.95. You would do a 0.99 if you want. All right, we just want it a bit flatter. So object mode. Oh, and then once we do that, it increases the length of the animal. So I do want to pull it up some. Yeah, 0.65 is where it's best. Object mode. And then I'm going to give this foot the same color as my beak once I... Yep, and now let me apply the material, like I said, the beak color. Perfect. And I'm going to now do object, apply, scale, and rotation. And once I have that done, I'm now going to do a mirror. Oh, I didn't set the origin. Set origin to 3D cursor. There we are. Apply. Awesome. So let's go ahead and apply. I'm going to click on the body, and we are going to apply our subdivision certified. We're going to apply our subdivision surface. Yeah, tongue twister, huh? Maybe not. All right. So with that done, now we can go back into edit mode and make ears. We click butt and then right. So there's the dead center. 1, 2. Here we are. That's what we need. I'm going to click this section. I'm going to hold shift and click on all these guys. And I'm going to click here. Zoom out and do an extrude. Oh, extrude. Did it. There we are. Technical difficulties. I'm going to do an extrude. And maybe 0.2. 0.33 I'm liking. Why? Because I wanted to. I'm going to decrease this just a little bit, and it mushes them in some. So 0.9, 0.9, 0.9. It's awesome. And now I'm going to let go, because now I'm going to decrease the scale of the actual top of them. And something like that. Let's see, I think. Yep, 0.4 is great. Now let me select these guys, scale, and 0.4 it is. Now let's look straight on. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna use this, and then I'm gonna do a face inset, and 0.02 is great. I should have done these both at the same time. 0.02. And with that still selected, I'm going to select the other as well. Whoops. Because now we're going to use the extrude along normals to push them in, not that much. 0.022, I'd say. Let me check that. Yeah, that looks good. And then let's also give them the lighter color, the inner part of the ear. Awesome. Let's go back into object mode. And I might just switch up my colors slightly. Let's see. Here's the body of the owl. Let's go a bit darker. Maybe not that dark. And the chest color. I had a second one here. Let's try BA8B57. Oh, I do like that one more. Alright, I am loving our owl. I am moving our owl. Super fun. Okay, let's go ahead and finish them up. I applied that. We can shade smooth. Boom. Nice look to it. And we already did that to the arms. Let's shade smooth our feetsies. And the eyes. And the beak. Awesome. And let's work on the render. So I just click camera. I'm going to go to render view. Let's do view sidebar, view, lock the camera, turn this camera around. Let's put the light back on camera so I can see it. The light here is now a sun, and I don't know, let's do 6. Let me zoom out a bit for our render. I love our owl. Okay, and then stop walking to camera, turn off camera view. Let's go work on our light. Let's push this forward and that way, and turn, and camera. I really love it. Okay, and let's go ahead with our camera. I'm going to go back just a bit, and then I'm going to do object duplicate. For another light, I'm going to pull it over here, turn it this way, and then pull it right back. Camera. Oh, it's looking awesome. I might want to change up, but I don't even think I need to, really. All right, and then I like to do transparent mode. Perfect. And we could lower the shadows. We're going to have some. All right. And awesome. I love our little owl. Anyways, you can mess around with these settings, but now all I need to do, is do render image. I have a friendly, fun, awesome owl staring back at me. I hope your owl is as cool as my owl. Make sure to like, make sure to hit subscribe. It gives me warm fuzzies and is kind. Ta-da!